welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Marin, and here you will find a little beauty, a little books, and a little teaching content. So if that sounds like something you might enjoy, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around and join me in my little corner of YouTube. Today's video is going to be my first Wheel of TBR for 2023. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Now, first of all, I want to go ahead and give credit where credit is due. So I want to shout out Cody at Cody's Book Corner and Melanie at Completely Melanie, whose TBR videos I have watched religiously over the last couple of years. And Melanie in particular was the one who prompted me to finally go ahead and invest in an actual wheel, because previously I was just using the Wheel of Names website to put my prompts in and I was spinning it online. I wanted to spice things up a little bit in 2023, make it a little bit more exciting. So we have an official wheel this time, and I am very, very excited. So before we go ahead and get into my first spins for 2023, I'm going to talk a little bit about how my game is going to work, because I am not going to do the punishments the same way that Cody and Melanie do them. So this is because I only want to have to spin the wheel 5 times, possibly 6, because I do have a +1 prompt in my little bag of prompts, which are all right here. And I really want to give myself wiggle room to read for vlogs and things like that. So I do not want to bog myself down with an overly ambitious Wheel of TBR, because that just will not give me enough room to fit my other reading into. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently than they do, in that I am not punishing myself if I land on the same color space multiple times. Instead, I am going to be incorporating my TBR jar into my game to kind of still keep with the punishment element, but it won't really be a punishment. So let me kind of explain a little bit more of what I mean. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of bring us in a little closer. So my wheel obviously has the same little pointer. It's going to spin and land on a space. If I land on the same space twice in my game, instead of adding an additional spin, I am going to pull a prompt from my TBR jar. Whatever title I pull from here will be a forfeit of the prompt that I landed on. So in other words, I am only going to be able to land on a spot 1 time. The prompt that I put on there will stay for the next round. I just will have to forfeit that prompt and instead pull a title for my TBR jar. So I hope that makes sense. I think it'll make more sense when and if that happens. In this TBR jar are all of the titles that are currently on my Goodreads Want to Read list. So there are over 600 books in here. And I'm thinking that incorporating this into the game will make me more likely to read some of those titles, because they just get lost when you have that many of them on a list. So that's kind of the inspiration behind this. I'm kind of keeping with the punishment idea, in that I'm taking control of my own choice away from myself, because I will have to draw a title from here, but I will not be adding additional books onto the TBR, and I just think that's going to work the best for me. So that's that. I think we are ready to go ahead and start playing my game for the first time in 2023. I will be spinning the wheel 5 times. There is a +1 prompt in here, so if I land on that, I will do a 6 spin, obviously, but that's where we're gonna go, y'all. So let me go ahead, I'm gonna set the wheel up, and we will get to spinning. I am very excited. All right, so I am going to pull prompts out of here. I am not going to look at them, because yes, it's see-through, I can see them. I'm just gonna tip that away from me so I won't actually know what I'm drawing, and we're gonna keep pulling until the wheel is full. So here we go. Okay, so I have put the prompts on the wheel. Now there is one prompt on here which says 23 and 2023. That one's gonna stay there. That is to hopefully help me get through my 23 and 2023 list in a more timely fashion. If you're curious, I will link that video up in the cards. But now we're gonna go ahead and just get spinning and see what I land on. I am not going to explain all of these prompts right now. Instead, I will just explain the prompt as I land on them, because I think that'll be a little bit quicker. So here we go with spin number 1 for 2023. Okay, and straight off the bat, we landed on 23 and 2023, so let me see what book I want to pull for that. Okay, so for 23 and 2023, obviously I have 23 books to pick from. However, I have already earmarked some of those books for various other challenges. So the one that I'm going to go with right now is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I have never read a book by Ali Hazelwood. I own Love on the Brain, and I have already pre-ordered Love Theoretically, so I really hope that I love this one. But this is the one we're going to start with in January. Okay, that prompt does not change, so we're gonna go ahead and get into spin number 2. Okay, this one is Weapon on the Cover. So let me see what I can find, probably some kind of fantasy. And I will not be putting the prompts that I'm pulling off right back in my bag. I'm going to try to make sure I'm getting a variety of prompts. So this will not go back in until I have used all of the prompts in the bag. Okay, Weapon on the Cover. I had to do a little bit of looking, but I decided to go with my January buzzword book for this one, which is Deathless by Catherynne M. Valente, because if you look closely, he is holding a spear in his hand, and that counts as a weapon, and I am very excited to read this one. I loved her YA Fairyland series, and I'm curious to read some of her adult books, and this is the one that I'm going to start with, so hopefully I will love it. Okay, so here we go, replacing Weapon on the Cover with a BIPOC author. And spin number 3. Okay, we landed on 23 and 2023 again, which means we're going into my TBR jar. This could be interesting. There are definitely some chunky books in here, but I did curate the list of books, just FYI, to everything that I still had interest in reading. So I will still have a book in here that I choose that I'm interested in reading. Let's do this one. Oh, it might be 2. Hold on. Okay. And it is Beastkeeper. This is a middle grade book. I'll flash the cover right here because I have an ebook of it. And yeah, that's gonna be book number 3. All right, spin number 4. And spin number 4 is sci-fi. So let me go ahead and see what I want to read for that. Okay, sci-fi. I decided to go easy on myself, y'all, and I am picking this little novella, Memento, by Amie Kaufman and Kristoff. This is part of their Illuminae Files series. It is very tiny, and I'm hoping that I can also just knock this out during the 48-hour Final Book Support Group readathon, because it is so short, and this will officially complete the Illuminae Files series. I have had this for a really long time and never read it, and I don't know why, because it's really tiny. So hopefully it will be a good read and not just a quick read. I loved the Illuminae Files, so I am excited to kind of dive back into that world. Okay, replacing that prompt with favorite author. All right, and this will be our final spin, spin number 5. Seriously, y'all, it's 23 and 2023 again, which means it's another TBR jar. So let's see what this one is. I think we'll do this one. actually, I'm going to put this one back in because this is a book that I'm already planning on reading later in the year for a buzzword pick, so I don't want to choose that right now. So let's pick a different one. And let's see. We'll do this one. This one is The Sea of Tranquility. That's currently on my TBR card, so let me just grab it and I will show it to you. Okay, so this is The Sea of Tranquility. It is by Katja Millay. This came out quite a while ago, like 10 plus years ago. Let me look. Yeah, 2012, so 10 years ago, and I remember it getting very rave reviews. People were reading e-arcs of it and really, really loving it. I actually had an e-arc, never got a chance to read it, so we will see what I think about it. This is a romance. It says, I live in a world without magic or miracles, a place where there are no clairvoyants or shapeshifters, no angels or superhuman boys to save you. A place where people die and music disintegrates and things suck. I am pressed so hard against the earth by the weight of reality that some days I wonder how I am still able to lift my feet to walk. So it's about a girl named Nastya who is just having a really hard time. She moves to a new town. She's trying to keep her past a secret, and she's trying to kind of hold everyone at a distance. But she meets a person, a guy, Josh, who kind of upends her world. So I am very excited to read this. It is a YA romance, and we will see what I think, because this has been on my TBR since 2012. So I'm pretty excited about this one. Okay, so now let's talk about the other books that I have on my list, and those are my TBR Knockout challenges. Now, the TBR Knockout is hosted by Melanie at Completely Melanie, where she gives you 2 prompts each month for you to read, and they need to be books that you already own because the whole idea is to knock out your TBR. So for the first one, it was words on the title, like mostly words on the title. So for that one, I have picked Tiny Pretty Things. I do not actually own this, but it's been on my want to read Goodreads shelf since it was released, so I'm counting it. I had a really hard time coming up with a book that I owned that only had words on the cover. That's not something that I seem to really have on my shelf, so I decided to go ahead and go with this one. I'm excited to read it. It is the first in the series, I believe, so we will see if I want to continue it, but that is going to be the pick for words on the cover. And the second prompt was a book with a mostly white cover, and for that I am going with If I Lie by Corrine Jackson. Now this is a reread. This is a book that I gave 5 stars to. When I read it, I had an e-arc of it. Let me see when this came out. This one came out in 2012 as well. I absolutely loved this book. It is a YA book about a girl who is dating a guy who is like a veteran. He's fighting in, I believe, the Iraq War. I can't remember. It's been a while. But she cheats on him. And it's kind of like the small town kind of turning their backs on her and her navigating this new reality. I loved this book, and I want to see if this still holds up. This will be part of a vlog where I am rereading previous 5 stars. So we will cross our fingers that this one remains a 5-star. I don't remember a ton about it, but I am looking forward to rereading it, and it fits the prompt of a mostly white cover really, really well. The final book that I'm going to talk about in this TBR is the second book that I'm going to be reading for that Final Book Support Group 48-hour readathon, and it is the 10th book in the 39 Clues series, which is Into the Gauntlet by Margaret Peterson Haddix. This will finish off the 39 Clues series for me. I am very excited to cross a series off my to-read list this early in the year, and hopefully this will be a good finale to the series. So there you have it. There are the books that I own, plus the few that I talked about that I do not currently own that I am borrowing from the library. But this is a pretty good TBR to start 2023 off with. I am very, very excited and hope that I will love all of these. If you have read any of them, please let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Otherwise, that's it, y'all. That is my first TBR for 2023. We will be back at the end of the month with another round of Wheel of TBR, where I will hopefully not land on the same spot as often as I did in this one, although it did help knock 2 books off of my TBR jar. So that's all I've got for you. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.